Hello. Hello. I'm trying not to spill my coffee all over the friggin' place. What's going on, homies? Doing league start step and prepping to move is hard. I believe it. Hello. Good morning. I'm just getting the YouTube side of things up and running. Today will probably be the last day we do a lot of practice or talk because I really want to finish Resident Evil. This is Val Earthquake stuff. You can play Val Earthquake. Yeah, you can definitely play Val Earthquake. I don't see why not. I have so much shit open on my computer. I gotta like close a bunch of shit. Probably a hard restart, to be honest with you. But hello, friends. Good morning. I feel like your eviscerate from last league would get to 700. I mean, if you keep putting currency into it, sure, why not? What did I play the eviscerate guy on? I don't even remember. Did I play it on Elementalist? Did it use golems? Didn't golems get nerfed? Please allow me to not exist until Saturday afternoon. Oh, man. It's kind of funny. It was on Elementalist, right? Is Elementalist nerfed, though? Didn't they, like, change something with the golems? And we did use golems. Good morning, you beautiful man. Thank you, thank you. Good morning, good morning. Hello, hello. Yeah, I don't know how much the golem changes affect things. Right? It might not be anywhere near as strong because the golems are, I don't know if I want to say giga nerfed, but like they're like nerfed. So it might not be as good. Less good. Not as good, less good. But hello. I guess the real question is what the hell are we supposed to do today? Do we like just watch the Ziz video and stuff? They also took golem effect away on clusters. Did they really? That's crazy. I have to keep my ringer on today in case the school calls. Dean's not feeling too hot this morning. I told him to go to school. If he doesn't feel good, have the school call me. I'll go pick him up. So yeah, I guess the question is like, what do we do? Do we like play the SSF character some more? Do we watch the Ziz video? Do we just do like act? I don't know what we're supposed to do. I don't know what the plan is. So was the Ziz video? Do you guys think the Ziz video is still relevant? My original plan was to watch it yesterday, but I knew I was never gonna like have the time to like finish the video and stuff, so I really needed to take yesterday to like do all that. Shut up, cat. Why are you meowing? I have a cat. That's a big pain in the ass. Do we get any new patch notes? I don't know. I'm really out of the loop. I turn to you guys for stuff like that usually. Let's go pull up the PoE website. Is there not an easy way to get to the patch notes? Do they not put an update thing on this anymore? Is that not a thing they do? Oh, they do. Hold on, my cat's going crazy. Give me a second. Hold on. What do you want? Nope, she's being an asshole to be an asshole. You thought it was kind of boring? Put it in the microwave? What am I putting? But who's cleaning that? What do you mean put it in the microwave? Wait, why was the interview boring? There's a Wooly video that I kind of want to watch about Holy Strike that might be interesting. That I was told was pretty good about explaining how it might be working and stuff. But I put it on in the background. It's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, so I'm not honestly too sure. I don't know how much I want to sit there and do full league start prep again. You know what I mean? Blast through the fucking campaign again. You guys know what I'm talking about? I feel like there's only so many times that you can go through the campaign. Ricky, man, I did the expedition. I don't got shit in that game. Your boy be broke. It's rough for a Goopa out here. I could have done that, but I'm not honestly too sure how much people want to watch that. That was an idea. It's only Act 1, 2, 3. That's important, then it's just chill running. I think all of the acts are important, though. If you're, giga blasting. But I don't know how much I want to, sweat the campaign, you know? Also, I might have to close my shade. My cat is currently sunbathing, but I currently see the green screen acting a fucking fool. These are the latest notes. Right? Divine! Yo, make this up.
Ready for hours oldie.
Ready for what? What did that say? Ready for hours of ulti. Oh, what am I make this up? Am I ready for hours of ulti? Probably. More than likely, friendo. More than likely. It's just a matter of how we're going to do it. You've accepted that you won't have a 3 or 4 hour campaign? Not with that fucking attitude. All right, this is Valve Breach cannot be obtained and is temporarily disabled from being used for existing copies. It'll be re-enabled the new breach effect and monsters in a future patch. The divination card, the emptiness, has been temporarily disabled. Might be planned to re-enabled. The gladiator achievement now also can be fully completed by clearing the pit map. What does that mean? Added 62 more foil Valdo map options. Gross. Added 72 more foil Voidborn keys. Gross. Void Zones can now upgrade the minimum tier maps with the specific Atlas quadrant to 16. No,
League start is upon us.
Void Zones now upgrade the minimum. Wait. So one Void Zone makes an entire zone tier 16? Am I reading that right? Thank you for the sub. Good morning. Is that what that was saying? Isn't any map with a new tiers? Yeah, but like, if we get one, you know how like in the current system you get one Void Stone, and it makes everything like the starters like 6 and stuff. Does this mean that all like one Void Stone will just make a whole section of our Atlas 16? So like if we can get one Void Stone, we could just immediately like hop into 16s and stay in 16s until second Void Stone. That's how I read it. Can somebody let that guy know that his fucking internet's breaking? Do we even need Void Stones for 16s? If you want to self-farm your own and sustain gold, you do. Because the new Void Stones make it so that every tier map below 16 drops as gold. So you probably want the Void Stones so that you could farm gold more efficiently. That's my understanding of it.
Yo, you're beautiful, man.
You never needed, yo, thanks for bits. You never needed the things to run the maps. You never needed Void Stones to run 16s. You just needed Void Stones to make all of your maps drop as 16. But if you didn't care, you just bought them, right? These are the ones from yesterday. The majority of harvest bees can be captured by honor for bees crafting, now much more common. Getting one voice is a bit more complex than doing one for all 16s. That makes sense. I could see that. All right, so I guess the real question is, do we care enough to watch that Ziz video, or do we just skip it? It's very good. Full skip. Well, there is one thing my buddy sent me, and I'm pretty sure this is the video that I've seen.
Holy Hammer is the new best slam skill in all of
I do want to play this.
Path of Exile. You have to excuse my dog. He's going a bit crazy. Hey, you don't eat that. What are you doing?
You really didn't give us any juicy
It has the
moments.
range of Sunder with the area and single target
Skip.
damage of Earth Shatter. Let me explain. So here is what the skill looks like. Holy Hammer's brand new to the...
Yeah, I got sent it. I asked another friend about the overlap. And he said that nobody really knows. And the best thing you could do is rewatch the Wooly video. So I was like, oh, well, I guess if I watch the Wooly video Maybe there's something I missed, because I already watched it once, and that's where, like, the whole idea of everything that I sent you came into play, was from watching this guy's video the first time. Yeah, but I mean, I would like to play it too. The problem is I don't know if the slams will overlap with each other. That's the big thing. If we don't know if, like, how well the slams are going to overlap. Like, how much AoE we need. Do they actually overlap? Do they not overlap? You know, that's the big question. So once we know that, it'll be a lot easier to, like, figure out.
Mirage League, and as you can see by the footage, you slam the ground normally without spending a power charge, and you just get a little bit of an area. Think of this like Smite. If you play Smite skill, it looks very similar to that. However, if you have a
big
power
slam,
charge
bonk,
and you
enemy
spend
feel
it,
manly.
you now get 2 additional hammers on either side of your main point of impact. This means that you can hit something up to 3 times with one single cast. For large enemies, so like 90% of bosses, they will be hit by all 3. For medium-sized enemies, some of the bosses are pretty small. You're probably only going to hit 1, maybe 2 hammers, so we'll say double damage at best. And then for all other enemies, yes, you're only going to hit them with 1 singular slam. But for single target, for all intents and purposes, you have triple damage if you are spending a power charge. That's a pretty
Things so far.
big condition. I'll talk about how we're getting that in just 1 second. So already you look at the base stats of the gem, 220% base damage, but you're hitting 3 times, so it's actually a 660% damage effectiveness skill with 1 singular use. The attack speed is pretty much irrelevant. It's actually pretty fast for a slam skill, but if you're unfamiliar with slams, your attack speed is pretty much irrelevant, I would say. It's just basically quality of life, because slams are all about hitting hard and hitting
Jug,
once. So
I'm
we just care about the
unkillable.
upfront damage, not the sustained DPS. So right off the rip, Holy Hammer's best case scenario, and this is best case scenario for single target, which is going to be, again, like 90% of bosses, you're dealing 660% damage with 1 singular use. But then we actually start reading
I don't know
the
if
mods
that's
on the
gonna be
skill. So if you
true.
look at the very bottom line, that is the one that gives us 2 additional, basically, instances whenever we use this ability, but you have to spend a power charge to get them. As you can see by the footage, you can overlap the damage. I'm assuming it'll be a little more comfy with the more area of effect you have on your character, but you definitely can overlap the damage as long as this works like every other AoE cascading skill.
How badly Blight was nerfed. Still good to farm for casual Blight enjoyers. Well, let's start with what makes you, like, what concerns do you have? You make a column build, go into the boss room and die. Gonna be fine. I don't see why it would be bad. Invigoration's like dead, but casuals weren't doing invigoration. You talking about the 67 Knights and steal a brain rot? Or this one. Are you smarter than us? Oh yeah, that's because I, like, when my son wants to watch YouTube, I find him a video on my account so I know what the hell he's watching. And then I guess I get fucking recommended all kinds of bullshit. No. Go away. No, you didn't want fucking pets or attention earlier. Go away. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. Still looks good if you go Zerker. That's just my feeling. Why Zerker? Holy hammers are good. Well, what would make you think they're bad? Because Zerker sounds like jerking. More damage. Wooly's doing it on Inquisitor. I don't think Inquisitor is the right decision at all. Please. I 100% think Slayer is 100% the right line. I play ass? What does that mean? Please, cat, stop! You're playing assassin? Cat's the boss? He wants attention, but come here. If you want me to pet you, come here. Come here and I'll pet you. How do you start power charge on Slayer? I have a solution that I'm not talking about openly. But I'll let you guys talk about your ideas for solutions openly. But I sure should have a solution. This slam from your video looks cool. What is Graven's secret? None that I really like. See if he's talking to the cat in English. Ralakesh does not... You cannot expend the charges from Ralakesh for Holy Strikes. My cat's being a huge fucking pain in the ass. Badge and Feral's Fur is a thing? How does Feral's Fur generate you power charges? Resonance. Wrong game. Feral's Fur doesn't generate you charges, though. What are you talking about? Clusters with Warcry. I think clusters with Warcry is not a bad solution at all. Just go crit and support slam with power charge on crit. Easy. Also not a terrible idea. Resonance Shrine does that, but it's way later. Are we swapping to hammers? I mean, if you've kept up with our group chat, you know the plan. Herald of Thunder plus power charge on crit. He's typing in our ideas. Correct. Pharaoh's Fur absolutely does with Aspect of the Cat. Pharaoh's Fur makes frenzy charges. What are you talking about? Read it. I will admit, I actively thought that Pharaoh's Fur was only frenzy charges. Use a Monkey Paw Talisman base. The problem is being locked into Pharaoh's Fur. It's also not a league start answer. Pharaoh's Fur is pretty league startable. Pharaoh's Fur is definitely more than 1 to 2 divs early. It's definitely very expensive early. You also need Aspect of the Cat. Aspect of the Cat, I think, is the harder problem. Blue Dream gives you power charges. That's also really hard to get, though. This is also on kill. Red Dream got nerfed. Red Dream ate it. Everyone's missing the easy one. What's the easy one? Dodri's Elixir? That's the easiest solution. Holy. Assassin's Mark? Assassin's Mark's probably fine too. Assassin's Mark's on hit though, right? Guaranteed on click. Sazmark slows fucking slams. Depends on how fast a slam is, right?
gym.
I actually want to lower this. Hold on. This is annoying me.
In the game. Then if you go back up to the first line, 20% more damage when you expend a power charge. That's just 20% more damage, assuming you have permanent uptime on your power charges. And then we look about in the middle here, first hammer in each cascade deals 100% more damage. So this is not the first hammer that hits the enemy. This is the first hammer in each instance of a hammer. Again, without a power charge, you only have one instance. You spend a...
Can I do automation with curses? Not to my knowledge. But Assassin's Mark's a mark, and you just mark on hit.
Power charge, you now have 3 instances. Every single hammer, assuming it's just the first one, will get the double damage effect, 100% more damage. Which basically means, for all intents and purposes, we have a base damage of 220. We're spending a power charge, so we get 2 extra hammers, so we're tripling our damage, right? 2 extra, it's 3 total. Then we get double damage because it's the first hammer hitting the enemy, and then we get 20% more damage on...
Where's it say... Oh, it does 100% more damage.
Top of that, which means that at level 20, Holy Hammers is effectively a 1584 damage skill. That's crazy. But this skill's not even done, because if you look at the second to last line, Holy Hammers cascade up to 2 times. As you can see in the footage, when you hit an enemy with a hammer, it's basically just going to use the skill again behind the enemy, I guess, like relative to where your character is.
Do we know where we get Holy Hammers from? Or Holy Strike from? Do we know where it... when it becomes available? Gross. Holy Strike? I don't want Holy Strike. You probably, no matter what, just play Sunder through the campaign.
You hit the enemy in front of you, and then it uses the skill again behind that enemy. So it keeps traveling forward, which is why I said it has the range of Sunder pretty much. So yeah, that is Holy Hammers in a nutshell. Now we have a week before the league actually starts. They absolutely can and probably will do some numeric adjustments, especially to the new stuff. There was so many new things in this patch alone that it is a very high likelihood GGG will have forgotten stuff or slipped through the cracks or just didn't have time.
My best guess is that Holy Hammers is nowhere near as good as we think it is. And it's probably actually fucking terrible.
Time to fully test, if they tested things at all, that is. Remember, we are the QA. What I'm trying to say is that in its current state, Holy Hammers looks absolutely insane. So regardless of any potential balance changes before the patch is live, I will be league starting with Holy Hammer.
Resolute Technique and use Mirror Banquet. It's pretty cheap. It's not the worst idea. I think boss mid, but mapping is S tier. Yeah, but who wants the boss? Like, who cares, you know? Am I doing phase play? I'm going to level the way that I know how to level, and then I'll probably, if I stay on it, play phase plays variant later on. But I don't think I'm staying on bleed at all. I think I'm only playing bleed for like a day or two. Is that an effort to make people not play hammers? Is what an effort?
Because it just seems really fun. I'm a big fan of like holy skills and paladin type stuff, so I'll be playing the Inquisitor. It's been a long time since I played it, and here is what I'm going to do. So this path of building will be over on Mobalytics, and you'll actually have some extra stuff written up on that site. So if you know what you're doing, go ahead and check the link in the description below to find all of this stuff over on Mobalytics in as much detail as you need, including a section on leveling. So let's start breaking it down here. First of all, obviously, Holy Hammer is not actually
run bleed Gladiator again. New catalyst is going to be super high demand. I think so too.
Supported in Path of Building. So what I've done is I've used Ground Slam because it's pretty close numerically, leveled it up a little bit, so it's a 434% damage skill. Remember, Holy Hammer is a 220, but it actually deals double damage if you spend a power charge, which we are always going to be spending a power charge. So 434 is close enough. It's actually a little bit less than what Holy Hammers will actually be. Past that, I have to actually manually config everything else. So 200% more damage. This is assuming, again, you're spending a power charge, so that's getting the 2 additional hammers on either side. 20% more damage. That's just baked into the skill itself. Remember, it says 20% more damage when you expend a power charge. 50% converted to lightning. That's on the skill itself. Less attack speed. That makes up for the base attack speed difference between ground slam and holy hammers. Less area of effect is the actual radius that's going to be on holy hammers. Then I had to manually config in over exertion support because it was nerfed in this patch. So remember, do not forget to actually put in over exertion into your links. I just don't have it here, and I manually config everything about it here. And then finally, just resistances, because you can get those on literally any piece of gear. It's trivial to cap your resistances. I'm not going to bother making every single item, you know, with all the resistances on it. And then everything else about this config is a standard slammer. Aside from the charges here, we have permanent uptime on all 3 charge types. I'll explain that in 1 second. And then the shock.
I don't mind. I think the Warcry stuff for charges isn't terrible. What's the new essence? Interconviction with Blood Rage. If I remember Interconviction correctly, yes. This is one of the new essences. %1 chance to deal double damage against enemies for each type of ailment you've inflicted on them. 5% increase attack speed and cast speed for each nearby enemy, up to 30. Increase global defense if there are no defense modifiers on other equipped items. +6 level of socketed gems while there's a single gem in the helmet. 2 to 4% of armor applies a fire, cold, and light resistance damage taken if you've blocked recently. I think that's insane. Projectiles can chain from any number of additional targets in close range. Left ring has +1 maximum number of seals. Right ring has shockwave, has 1 additional cooldown. Equip magic flasks have 30% increase effect if you have no flask adjacent to them. Where is... I didn't even know where Interconviction is. Why is this so slow? It's a timeless jewel? Bro, do you know how miserable that's going to be to get? Just wait for Fubgooners, but what if I want to play it now? What if I don't want to wait? I don't want to wait.
Shock, you are dealing 100% of your damage as lightning damage instead, so you're going to be getting a massive shock. This is probably a bit conservative, if anything, because slams hit so ridiculously hard. All right, with that said, this is pretty basic gear, I would say. It's not like super in-game hyper investment, but it is pretty late in the in-game, which is why this is called the late in-game setup. Remember, there are different variations here. I'll talk about the leveling in 1 second. So using an 800 DPS staff, Eventuality Rod gives you +1 power, +1 endurance as an implicit, very powerful. The only unique item here is Echoes of Creation. This is an Uber Shaper drop, so it'll take a little while for these to start appearing on the market, but it doesn't matter because you're not gonna be able to use this thing right away anyway, because you have to get quite a bit of mitigation to actually offset that self-damage part. Past that, it's just basic rare gear. This might look at a first glance like a pretty crazy body armor, but then you remember that they added the Keeper's League to the core game, so you have the Giving Tree, and this will be very easy to get even with the nerfs, and there's just very basic stats on everything else. Keep in mind that you will need a source of both mana and life leech. The mana leech will come from a cluster jewel, and the life leech is obviously here on the gloves. This is an Eater of Worlds implicit. It should be very, very easy to get it. Just do not forget it. And then just hovering over the rest of the gear, again, it's very simple. The anoint here is actually very important. Disciple of the Forbidden gives you a chance to get a power charge on kill. That is one of the ways that we are sustaining power charges, but definitely not the only way. It does cost triple black oil, so maybe at like day 1, day 2 of the...
Why do you think he's coping a lot? Why is that? Where's the leech? You literally can get the leech right there. That's another reason why you would start Slayer, because you would just take this. Also, there's a huge area of effect wheel, I think. Oh, why is this so laggy? Hello. How are you, sir? It's actually hidden in the filter. Yeah, but then you got to give up your body armor. You have to give up your body armor for like dog shit. Nobody wants dog shit. I don't want dog shit. Do you want dog shit? I don't want dog shit. I ain't wearing no dog shit. You hope the sanctum buffs are good? They might be. They might be. Just block. Just get max block with a staff. You're playing a staff already. Just take staff block now. It's problem solved. Mm-hmm. There you go. Surely we get too fat. Honestly, you probably will. I don't see why you wouldn't. Honestly, you probably do.
The league that might cost you like 20, 25 chaos. But if you're like day 3 plus, it should be totally cheap. And probably the craziest pieces to get here are the rings. The non-channeling skills have mana cost is essential for an auto exertion setup, because what auto exertion does is it sets the mana cost of every single Warcry linked to it to a flat 10, no matter what. So if you have 2 rolls of non-channeling minus mana cost, those cost now 0 mana, because if they're costing mana and you're just spamming your Warcries all the time, you're going to be draining your mana. It's going to be very annoying. So definitely do not forget that. And then past that, we do actually need some accuracy rating in the build. So both of these have T1 accuracy. And then past that, the new belt base type cord belt is probably the best in slot in the entire game for rare belts. I don't know how uncommon these are going to be, but you could always switch this over to a Stygian Vice or even just a regular belt until you can afford one. But the reason why they are the best in slot is because they can...
I really like these cord belts a lot. I really do. I think they're really good. I could be cooked there, but I'm pretty sure they're really good.
Be anointed just like your amulet, so you get another free passive point anywhere on the tree, provided you have the oils to spend. Then for jewels, these are 3 mod, but they're very cheap 3 mods: life, accuracy rating, and percent damage. These are gonna be trivial to acquire these, and I'll talk about the cluster jewels in just 1 second. Now let's get to the passive tree at large. So the first thing I want to talk about is power charge generation. First thing is actually from the cluster jewels. See here, Warcries have a 5% chance to generate a random charge per point of power. Now we are always having 10 power on our Warcries due to this mastery, so we have a 50% chance to gain a random charge whenever we Warcry. If we look at our auto exertion setup, the fastest recovering Warcry right now is Intimidating Cry with a 3.1 second cooldown, and then we look at the other ones and they're just slightly longer. The reason why they have different cooldown amounts here is because I have put differing amounts of quality on the skill gems. As you can see here, auto exertion should be at 20, and then Intimidating also at 20. This gives it the most cooldown recovery rate, the faster cooldown. But then we have 14, 16, and 18. What this is going to do is, because
who was behind me? Oh, the streamer, yeah.
Because every Warcry by default has the same cooldown, by giving them slightly different amounts of quality, you are now staggering their casts. At first, they're only separated by like 0.1 second, right? But the next cast, they're separated by 0.2, then 0.3. That slight difference is important because you want the highest chance to generate a power charge after you have already spent it. If every Warcry is popping simultaneously, you're going to roll your chance to get a power charge all at the same time. It'll generate your max power charges, but then if you slam like 2 times before your next set of Warcries, all of a sudden you might not have a power charge to spend. So you're staggering the casts of the Warcries.
How many power, like, what does he mean? Like, how is he, wait, hold on. He's gonna slam 2 times and be out of power charges before the next cast. What? Sure.
So you are staggering the chance of getting your power charges and thus
You got it.
sustaining. Past that, Whirling Barrier gives us a 20% chance whenever we block both attack or spell damage to get a power charge. Now we do have a very low block chance, but it's a chance nonetheless to get a power charge. Then again, we have that Anoint up here, Disciple of the Forbidden, triple black oil, gives us an 8% chance on kill to get a power charge. This will almost certainly be enough to sustain us while we are mapping. And even if it's not, if it's like every other slam has a power charge to consume, guess what? You're just killing regular monsters anyway. You probably didn't need the extra cascades of hammers in the first place. But the big juice comes from Static Strike. This thing, if you didn't know, you hit something and then it gives you basically a little bit of an aura around you, and then that aura starts zapping enemies. And this skill was actually buffed in the Mirage League as well. Instead of only lasting 3 seconds, now it lasts 4. So basically, use the skill one singular time. This is only for single target, by the way. And then you have 4 seconds of this beam hitting the enemy for you automatically. You don't have to do anything else. So obviously, we're linking it with power charge on critical, 64% chance on a.
Bros clicked every power charge gain node, me or him? It's a combo skill. What up, man? Does he have a POB in this? Hi for Mirage, I'm very excited. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't think Inquisitor's right at all. I think Inquisitor's like the worst fucking choice you can make. There's no shot in hell Inquisitor's right. Still undecided on your starter? There's so many choices. What are you toying between? What are your options? Oh my god, that feels good. I'm tired today. I would rather play the new Scion. For what, though? I'm clicking Deadeye for the first time in many, many leagues. Uh-oh. It's rainy and muggy and nasty outside. And let me tell you, fucking rainy days like this, I don't know, man. I'm just tired. Jorgen! What up, bro? What up, man? How are you, friend? Yo, thanks for follow. What are we thinking? What are we Oh, this looks fucking terrible. What is even going on in this? Jorgen, how are you today, sir? Figured out Shield Crush of the Chieftain. Nice. For a league start? Hell yeah. I want to play Holy Hammers, and I was just watching the Wooly video on it. But how are you, friend? That's cool. Chat, this is Jorgen. Jorgen, this is chat. Chat. Spend 5 seconds of your life hitting the follow button. Tired but keen for league start. I was just saying that as you walked in, man. It's like a cold, muggy day outside when it's raining, and I too am tired. Ow. Assassin? Thanks for bringing the community over, man. I appreciate you, buddy. It's all good, dude. Hell yeah, dude. Gonna go to sleep. See you later, man. Sleep well, brother. Slammed by the cat already? There's no way it's Assassin, right? That POB, this one is very troll. I think this one's very troll. I have an idea of how to build it, Oliver. I'm pretty sure I have it fully fleshed out, but I don't want to talk about it too much because with my luck, I'll be right and all the items will go from fucking 5 C items to 100 C items or 100 div items and I'll get cooked. My brain said occultist. His frenzy endurance charges 5% of Warcry. No, it's not 5%. It's not 5%. It's per power. It's 5% per power. And it's, they have a minimum power of 10. Happens every time. All it takes is one streamer. Yeah, I have a fully fleshed out gear set in PoB, I think, for Holy Hammers. That'll be insane, but I obviously need the gear to test it first. I even have it somewhere on this page. It's somewhere here. But you'll never find it because it's got a really weird name. It might be the fun one. Actually, I don't even know what fun it. I don't even know what this is. Shit. A busload of kids? This was he was a mining guy. He was mining. This was the guy's name. It was a busload of kids. He was playing Eviscerate in the mines. This was the Eviscerate guy we copied. That's what his name was. His name was a busload of kids. Yeah, he was the guy that we copied for Eviscerate. We'll name me Gatekeeper. Yes, sir. What I really want to know is how good Holy Strikes is. Because Holy Strike could also be super fun to play. This is so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2. Since it's minions. Maybe. Dude, I have so many tabs open. It's ridiculous.
Crit to get a power charge. This will absolutely be
I really don't like the static strike
enough
thing,
to
but it
sustain
might
you. But
be what
just
you
in
have
case
to
it's
do.
not, guess what? We also are using Assassin's Mark with Mark on hit, so it's always applying on rare and unique enemies, which gives us an extra 5% chance on top of that. So between Assassin's Mark, Static Strike, 8% chance on kill, 20% chance on block, and of course the 50% chance, but remember it's choosing one of the 3 charges, not always going to be power, so it's basically 17% chance whenever you war cry, you will almost certainly be sustaining power charges. However, if that's still somehow not enough, there actually is one more thing you can do, and that is adding in an elegant timeless jewel. What this will do is it'll give you random passive skills like this. One of these passive skills can say 15% chance on critical strike to gain a power charge. I highly doubt we will have to do this, but if push comes to shove, I will incorporate this into the build or something very similar. Then for Ascendancy class, I have simply chosen the Inquisitor because we are utilizing power charges, so why the heck would we not try and do some crit stuff? So obviously we are going Inevitable Judgment, which means we don't have to worry about penetration, lowering resistances, or anything, as long as we have capped crit, which is is trivial to do in Path of Exile 1 compared to Path of Exile 2. And then we're also getting some Consecrated Ground. This gives us quite a bit of region. I believe it's 5% of your life per second, and, you know, some nice 50% reduction of curses on you. That's pretty good too. And then the Pious Path node here, which basically just gives you permanent uptime on Consecrated Ground. Basically, how this all works is without Pious Path, if you just have Sanctuary, when you're attacking, you're stationary, so you have Consecrated Ground, but the millisecond that you start moving, Consecrated Ground disappears just like that. Pious Path says, okay, instead of that, you get 4 seconds of Consecrated Ground, so you have 4 seconds to move around freely, and then as long as you attack once every 4 seconds, you have permanent uptime on your Consecrated Ground. Past that, that's pretty much it. I have an early in-game setup here with a significantly worse staff, 470 DPS, very easy gear here. I didn't change out the base types on these. These are the level 80 base types. Obviously, just use whatever you can get your hands on, but everything here is very, very easy to acquire. This is also on a 5 link instead of a 6 link. Again, this is still assuming you're using overexertion. Do not forget about the support gem. And we're still looking at pretty decent damage for a level 78 character. Also, I forgot to say that the mana leech, remember the life leech is on your glove, the Eldritch Implicit, the mana leech comes from your cluster jewel. Fuel the fight, notable. This thing is incredibly important. You definitely need one source of mana leech in your build. Unfortunately, we cannot use physical damage leached as mana because we are converting 100% of fizz to lightning. So we need a global source of attack damage leached as mana. Fuel the fight is the easiest one to get.
Where is he converting the rest of it from?
Going over leveling, this will be using Sunder. I will probably use...
Wait. Where did he convert the rest of it from? Oh! You mean to tell me, is there not a better support gem than fucking Fizz to Lightning? There's no way that's the best option. Right? There's no way. Is that the best option? Early, yes. Gloves, Watcher, and Lightning Mastery. Fair. 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 Fair.
Holy Hammers instead, but Sunder is 100% going to be the safest option. So this is a typical Sunder leveling tree, but you're starting as the Inquisitor instead of the Marauder or the Duelist. Check the notes tab here in Path of Building or the actual notes over on Mobalytics to find out like the typical...
Oh, it's still in the early one. I mean, that makes the most sense. Holy Hammers converts half as is. Yeah, it says 50% converted. The real question at the end of the day for Holy Hammers isn't going to be, does it hit hard? It's going to be, can you actually overlap them? Because there was an argument that Anti-Valor was making yesterday that every time that you hit, the overlaps might spread out from each other instead of overlapping into each other. Gloves of Mastery? No, you just fucking Val Chaos Orbit. I'm gonna get some sleep. I would love to do that. Have a wonderful evening. Good night. Can they nerf Holy Hammers 4 times before announcing it? No way. No. Hello? 4 times? Slam's bad bait build? It could be. There's a world. Oh my god. Today's gonna be a second cup of coffee day. Are we gonna be able to get a level 1 support gems on Val skills? No. No. You are not. Are slam totems still a thing? Ooh, I have no idea. I'm in here a bit. How am I? I'm good, man. How are you, man? What's up, man? I'm looking for it. Yeah, see, this thing says corrupts the skill gem. So you have to choose on if you want a Val skill or a +1 on it. Shockwave or Procession Mines? Figuring out my build. 12, 13.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games. Welcome to GGG Live.
Let's go over a few examples. With Holy Hammers, you slam the ground to call down a Hammer of Justice from the sky. If this hits an enemy, an additional Holy Hammer will cascade forwards, which itself can further cascade, and so forth.
They overlap. It overlaps. That's one hammer. It's overlapping.
More cores will cool down and further cascade.
It overlaps right there.
And so forth. Expending a power charge when using the skill will cool down an additional 2 hammers.
They definitely overlap.
Which can also cause
This one overlaps very little right here. It's very little. It's right here. It's very, very little.
Cascading slams. The more numerous your foes.
See, it's right there. It's an attack skill. Thanks for the follow. It's attack, slam, melee, AoE, and lightning. It has to scale with AoE, right? There's no way it doesn't overlap. The cascade on the side is way off screen.
If this hits an enemy, an additional Holy Hammer will cascade forwards, which itself can further core which itself can further cascade, and so forth. Spending a power charge when using this.
Thanks for the follow. Crazy frame drops? What do you mean? So he hits the ground here. That attack hits. And then it overlaps. Summoning Sergog frame by frame. No, I'm curious if this overlaps. And if the the big question is, I'm tired. Trinity icon, I see it. The question is will AoE cause it to overlap, or will AoE cause the hammers that are falling to make them move further out instead of overlapping? It's too uncertain. The big problem is this footage is so unreliable. I mean, right here, it looks terrible. If you look at this. Right? Because this is sure as shit not overlapping right here. I mean, yeah, this overlaps right there. I think, here's what I think. Here's what I think happens. I think you're right. I think it always overlaps this same amount, no matter how big the initial slam is. I think this slam and this slam are always on the edges. And it'll always be overlapping like this. The white ghost? Yeah, it's because the window's open and the cats are laying in the sun. Yeah, I don't think it'll multi-hit bosses at all. I think you're right. It should be fine with conch. Why? If you make this circle smaller, these are still going to stay on the same radius. For mega overlaps? No. So look. This is the point he's making, right? So look. So he hits. And it's so big, right? These overlap the same amount as that small one. That's the problem. Because, like, no matter how big this initial hit is... See, because this hit here is huge. Would it reduce AoE, make it viable? No, because the hammers, it looks like, if it works the way that I think it works, it always, no matter what, has a big radius. See the radius right here? Like, this is big. And these hammers always fall on the sides, and it always only overlaps this amount. But even if you reduce the radius, and it's only this big, it's not going to overlap. Right? Unless I'm misunderstanding. You have to focus on the initial slam. I don't think the initial slam's ever going to be hard enough to hit or kill a boss. I don't think it's ever going to be... I don't think this is ever a bossing skill at all. I think this is going to be, like, the best mapping skill. I think this would be an insane mapping skill. So it keeps the same overlap? Yeah. I'm trying to find the example I was referring to over. I fully agree with that. Definitely a clear skill. Some sort of gem swap needs to happen. You're licking me. Sir, please. What are we licking? Hee hee XD. The idea that it doesn't overlap, though, makes me so sad. We're licking depression. Who's fucking depressed? $9.26 in the Mirage reveal.
The implicit of this belt allows it to be anointed, causing it to grant a passive tree notable of your choosing. As a quick note, Imprisoned Jinn will
know what I'm looking at here. What am I looking at here? I think that's just a reflection of this skill.
And will generally be near the content they can empower in the mirages. So you don't need to worry too much about getting lucky with where your content generates in an area. As the campaign doesn't generally contain too much additional league content for the mirages to empower, we've gone and added a whole bunch that will force spawn near the gym. So your campaign experience will double down on being more action-packed and rewarding.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. We'll see, man. I mean, what is it? It's Tuesday? We're like 3 days out. I'm sure by like Friday night we'll know.
Hey, what's up YouTube? Rotha here. So today I'm going to talk about my plans for the 3.28 Mirage League. I'm thinking of playing Hardcore Trade or Hardcore SSF. I haven't decided between which yet. Hardcore SSF will be a little hard for the character I'm planning, I think, but might still go for that. It's been a long time since I played it, and I really think that this league will be really good for SSF. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. But anyways, I am looking at Shock Nova. So in the live stream, the one thing that caught my eye was Shock Nova of Procession. This is a new transfigured version of Shock Nova. It looked like it was going to clear really well, and the footage of it seemed really, really nice. So that was the first thing I was interested in. Before we saw the gem numbers, which we see here, I was thinking maybe mines would be okay, but it looks like this is going to be best as either self-cast or totems. And I think it's going to work really well with Archmage. There's a couple reasons for that. So this gem has an insane cast time, 0.25 casts per second, which is ridiculous. One of the fastest casting abilities in the game. Has really low damage added effectiveness, which will make sense in a second when you look at the line below, which says repeats 2 times. This gem essentially has built-in echo. 2 echoes actually. So this is a pretty ridiculous ability. The ability itself can overlap twice per cast. You have the outer ring and you have the inner ring, and both of those can hit the same target. And then it also repeats 2 additional times. So you essentially have the ability to overlap 6 times with 1 cast, which is kind of insane. Now, you're probably not really going to get 6 overlaps unless you're fighting like a really big hitbox boss or something like that, but just the potential to hit that many times could be really interesting. There also might be a thing where like you go into a corner, you drag a boss to a corner, and you starts like using your Shock Nova. It might actually always overlap when you're in a corner like that. Have to see how it plays out. My initial thoughts are it's gonna be really, really insane, and it works really well with Archmage because the repeats actually don't cost more mana. It costs mana on the initial cast, and then anytime it repeats from the initial cast, it won't cost extra mana. This will lock you in place until you finish the cast, but it has such fast cast time that this really shouldn't be a huge problem. This is normally a problem when you play characters like this, like spellcasters early on. You run Spell Echo really early, your character kind of gets locked in place really long, and it doesn't feel very good to play. Yeah, it's the
variant of it.
I normally recommend playing with like faster.
That looks cool. I don't think I'd play that though. I don't know. I still want to play this or try this at some point, but I don't know if it's going to be good. There's also the world where like this strike skill is insane. Will summon fourth a copy of your main hand as a holy armament. These holy armaments are undamageable minions. I think this might be really cool. It's like cleaving minions. I asked people earlier if they wanted to watch this, and they said it was boring. Is it boring? Is it worth watching? Do I think Holy Strike works with Bated Breath? I actually don't know what Bated Breath does off the top of my head. How would this do anything? Yeah, I think it's a follow.
For joining me for a pre-Mirage interview. I'm joined with Octavian and Andrew. Some are already familiar with Octavian. We'll do introductions here in a sec, but this is Andrew's first time at an interview, I believe. I saw you did a XLCon thing. But I figured if you guys can start with introducing yourselves and talk a little bit about what you do at Grinding Gear Games.
My name's Andrew. I've been at GGG for about 7 years now. I started off in QA, and then I think I moved to design around Metamorph League. Out of like all of the designers at GGG, I'm probably the one who's like spent the highest proportion of time on Path of Exile 1. Not to say I haven't done a few things on PoE 2, but
I don't know anything
so
about this
I'm pretty
guy.
familiar with like all of the leagues back since when, all of them.
And is it true that you are the dev check guy? That whenever Chris Wilson was doing like a dev check, it would be you answering the questions?
Yeah, for a period there, yep.
Well, that's good to know. I know a lot of
Andrew's
people
a
were
lead
curious
creator.
about that. It's a good emote on Twitch too. Octavian, do you want to introduce yourselves for people who aren't familiar with you already?
Sure.
I had no idea who this
first
guy
I do
was
just wanna
until
say, like, I feel like Andrew's
the
selling
league
himself a
started.
little bit short. Like, he is essentially the bedrock of Path of Exile 1 design. Like, if there is a league mechanic or other thing in Path of Exile 1 that you like, he probably did some of the implementation for it.
They talk about holy hammers in this?
But
Oh, you meant
yeah,
dying breath?
my name is Octavian. Not my real name. Technically, my real name is Chris, but there's already another Chris at Grind, or there has been another Chris at Grinding Gear. But yeah, my name is Octavian. I joined the company about 4 years ago now, and I am, design on PoE 1, though I started in QA, like Andrew, and like a lot of our designers. And also have touched a number of things on PoE 2, but, full-time PoE 1 now.
And for those that don't know, Octavian used to be a streamer before as well. So
Yes, in
Still
a past
streamer,
life.
right?
What's that?
You're still a part-time streamer.
Now and again, as a hobby. But
really good
yeah,
games
used
too.
to be used to be full-time. Used to be on podcasts on the other side of this.
yeah.
Sir, please,
Awesome. Thanks so much for introducing
get to the
yourselves,
relevant stuff,
and,
Ziz.
thank you guys for being here and giving me this opportunity.
There's
I have a lot
no
of things I'm excited
fuck.
to
There's
talk
no
about, so,
chapters in this bitch.
We'll start with talking about Mirage itself, and I'm a little bit curious with like when it comes to ideas and stuff. When you're
The
thinking up
impatience?
a league for PoE 1,
What do you
ever
mean?
consider, is this going to be in PoE 2? Is it going to be used there, and how will it look like when it comes to PoE 2?
Not really. I mean, I won't say that it's like literally never come up as a question, but it's kind of an afterthought. Like
None of us are patient.
yeah.
You
I
could
mean, in the
listen and
case
do
of
runs?
Mirage,
Do runs of
I
what?
pitched the idea originally, and that certainly wasn't part of the premise. No.
I don't want to do runs of the
Mirage is
campaign.
very, very different. We've seen like starting at Legion, we had like the homogenization of loot. This seems a little bit the opposite of that, where it's enhancing each league's individual flavor. Would you talk a little bit more about
Test
like
toxic
the league
rain and
mechanic itself?
no.
Especially like just basic things like what happens when you die? Can you go back in?
You would use a portal in the same way that you would if you died in the original map.
Okay.
So yes, you can go back in if you have a portal remaining.
And then we saw in the video that you free the Djinns. Does that itself drop any loot or end the Mirage?
It doesn't prevent you from going back in the Mirage if there was still loot in there that you hadn't looted yet and you wanted to go get. But the Djinn breaking free is kind of a flavor thing. However, completing a Mirage within the Mirage, so finding the astral chain and breaking
Now that you're here.
will spawn a cache of rewards.
Okay, cool.
Yes, ma'am. How are you this
and like
morning?
I said, it alters the league mechanics and boss fights. I was wondering if we could have any examples of that. I'm particularly curious about how it interacts with ritual. Can we have 8 rituals, basically?
Am I a little tired today? But we chilling.
I was gonna say, for the majority of this league cycle, Octavian has been working on the league, and I've been working on a bunch of the other stuff.
Everything good?
Yeah.
We just
So
started.
Mirage stuff to me is like
The interview's from 2 days. Is it 2 days? Yesterday? Is it yesterday? Is it yesterday? When did this happen? Was it yesterday? Two days ago? Two days ago.
still fairly fresh. I'm not familiar with it, but I think I did actually do stuff regarding the ritual mechanics for Mirage. It's got this weird thing going on where if you had 4 rituals within your regular map, it will try to buff the ritual in the Mirage by so much that it would give you an equivalent amount of tribute. We had to do a bunch of weird maths to figure this out, but basically, if there's 4 rituals in your real map and there's 1 ritual in your Mirage, then that 1 ritual in your Mirage will be super juiced and it should give you an equivalent amount of tribute to what you had in your real map.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay, cool. Do you have any other examples that you're willing to share about like how it affects and changes league mechanics? That was a really cool one.
Abyss is one where so often the Mirage area is much smaller than the original map, and an Abyss can path quite a distance. So an Abyss in a Mirage is often going to, if its pathing would have taken it outside of the bounds of the Mirage, it will instead just open up a pit and start spewing out tons of monsters on the spot.
Oh. Okay. And speaking of Abyss, does it or how does it interact with anything like an Abyssal Pit, Syndicate Research, anything that has like a separate zone, whether it's a loading one or not?
So what we term a child instance, which is what a Mirage is, it's a child of the instance that it was created in, cannot itself have further child instances. So that means that Labyrinth Trials, Volside areas, Abyssal Depths are not actually able to spawn in Mirages, no.
What about stuff like Alva that is it's a portal to something else, but it's not a loading screen?
That's a less hard rule. Alva actually doesn't work, but Alva master missions in general don't get recreated in Mirages, but that's mostly because they have meta systems that need to be in a given state, and we can't actually predict the state that you'll be entering the Mirage in. So like say you've only done half of the encounters in the parent instance, and then you enter the Mirage. If you're in a Djinn, talking in the context of a Djinn mission, we don't know the state of your board. Like it's in flux. Because the state of the board is recalculated at the end of all of the Djinn encounters, not necessarily at the end of each individual one within a map. So mostly for functional reasons, master missions don't work, and then like I said, anything that would send you to a further child instance doesn't get recreated.
What about Harvest?
Harvest works.
Oh, cool. Are you willing to talk about how Harvest works?
If the portal to the Harvest Grove, I guess it's what it's called, is within the Mirage, then you can enter it, and the entire grove is valid walkable space.
Well, yeah, but is it different in the Mirage?
Oh yeah, there's a new kind of seed.
Oh, okay. Okay,
it does things.
Okay, it does things.
What does it do?
Yeah. All right. Are there any league mechanics that like completely don't work? Do you want to expand more on anything else that like isn't workable?
I think the only one that doesn't fit in the earlier list is the Viridian Wildwood doesn't show up in in Mirages. There is a wish to add wisps, though.
Okay. And what about Delve? Does that get like changed as well, like the sulfide piles?
That's master missions in general don't
Oh,
show up
right,
in
yeah,
Mirages. So
Right, that makes sense.
I'm curious, how does a delirium mirror work?
I would have to double check this because I requested it work this way, but I haven't looked at the issue in a while and it hasn't come back to me. But the intention is that if there is a delirium mirror in the overworld that you interacted with, then there is one in the Mirage.
Whoa. Okay. Does Mirages interact with the Valdo tier 17 maps from the puzzle boxes?
You can do a Mirage in a Valdo map, but you won't get the reward again.
Okay.
So you'll be able to do content again, but not the like special, guaranteed mage blood or whatever.
Yeah. You can still be sent to the void.
Yes.
Okay,
It inherits all the map stats of the parent instance, and that is a map stat. So yes.
Right. Does Nightmare
I
maps
wouldn't
and Originator
fucking-
maps have like both functionalities of the
That's
Mirage? Like,
crazy.
can you go through like the small Mirage, or can you basically double the map like that type of Mirage?
That is at odds with Originator maps, because the modifier that makes a map an entire Mirage map is taking up the same space as the modifier that makes it an Originator map. And that's kind of purposeful because we wanted to have two different strategies you could be pursuing in the end game rather than just stacking every strategy on top of each other.
Oh, what about Nightmare maps?
Nightmare maps work with Mirages, yes.
And even the like
Or what do you
doubling it?
mean?
Like, well, so you could have like, I can't remember, or I actually don't fully know the fully name of it, but there's like, you said in the Q&A with Ziggy that you can do a full Mirage, right? Like fully Mirage a map.
I don't see any reason that wouldn't work with the Nightmare map, but I'm not 100% certain without testing it.
And that's
How do
why,
you mirage?
Wait, we can mirage a whole map? Really? It's like an overrun abyss. Oh,
well, that's why I was
Like, how
curious
you get
about
a fully
asking that.
Mirage map?
Uh-huh.
Fully Miraged maps have a chance to drop from map bosses within a Mirage.
So, are you a little bit
answer Andrew's
concerned
question.
that makes it back to tier 17 meta again? That you can fully Mirage those, but you can't on Originator maps?
Well, you're not able to apply the Egan juice, the blobs, as been lovingly termed, to them. So I think it should be fine, but that is a valid concern.
Okay, well, I'm glad that's brought up at least and like thought about. That's definitely a concern. Another thing, we did see Cyrus in a Mirage. Are you willing to share any other like large buses like that? Like, can we see Ubers? is it just
There is a
witness one?
wish that spawns. There is a wish, a relatively rare wish that is T16 plus only, that spawns a random feared member in your map.
And my follow-up question then is, do they have their original drop tables?
They can drop their uniques.
Very cool. Very cool. And I'm guessing that's the, like, so if it's spawns Cyrus, I'm guessing that's the normal version of Cyrus and not the Uber version.
Yes, not Uber. The version that would show up in feared, which I don't think is the Uber version.
No, but you can witness both, so I figured it was worth asking. Cool.
Tier 16 is gonna be
so
lit.
we
It's
have
gonna be very
Mirage
interesting.
items are coming with like new uniques and the coin of restoration. Now, my question here is, we did have a sort of similar system with faded uniques from Prophecy, which altered, limb split into Cauterizer, where Cauterizer is just better than limb split in every way. Is this going to be a similar type system where the restored unique is just better in every way, or are they both usable for different purposes?
I'm sure, you know, players will define a meta where some of them are more valuable or stronger than others, but the intent is that they are, you know, roughly equivalent. Now, given that they do very different things, it's kind of hard to match that intent. You know, one will probably be a bit stronger than the other.
Yeah.
But no, it's not meant to be like, you know, this is, you know, thing A, and then when you use the coin on it, it's thing A plus plus.
Yeah.
They're meant to be meaningfully different and equally viable.
Cool.
Yeah, from what I've seen, they look like generally the two uniques are for completely different builds. So, for example, Rustbite is like a poison themed sword, and then the fire equivalent is an ignite themed sword or a fire dot sword.
Rustbite was the internal name for the unique sword that we showed off in the Q&A or in the live stream.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I like that. I like that. Next up, I really want to ask about Streams of the Desiccated, which in a lot of ways is competing hard with or even replacing Mage Blood. Is it divinable? Like, can I divine Resistance Shrine to Massive Shrine? I guess that's my first question.
No, the shrine will not change with a divine orb. It works sort of like a Watcher's Eye in that respect.
Awesome. And what shrines are we not getting? Obviously, Divine Shrine, I guess.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely not Divine Shrine.
What about Echoing?
Yeah. I know I'm going to disappoint some people with this answer, but I don't really want to reveal the full list. I mean, it's going to be data mined on release, I'm sure. But
what about, can you tell us if Echoing is on there?
Well, all I can say is I still have the balance issue on me. It's like the only unique balance issue I have left. And we were talking quite a lot last week about it because we're basically looking at this thing and we're like, have we just power crept Mage Blood?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of interesting things you can do with it, because it's basically, the downside is it only applies to Shrine while you have no Flask active. But to be honest, there's like a lot of ways you can still take advantage of that downside. Like, for example, you can take the King of the Mist +1 ring slot, and an extra ring is certainly juicy. You can use tinctures still, you can use instant flasks. So the downside isn't as punitive as it may first seem on paper.
Okay.
And then if you look at what the shrines actually grant, like a ton of them grant completely cracked buffs. And you'd also, unfortunately, this is a little bit of a combo item because you're always going to be comboing it with something like the Gal. You might use Blunderbore, but basically you'd want to stack as much shrine effect as possible on top. So yeah, there's certainly, this item is crazy, and the balance is still in progress, and it's probably going to end up being giga rare for like very specific combinations. But
good.
Yeah, there are crazy shrines on it for sure.
I gave Andrew a problem.
Awesome. No, I'm super excited. It does look super fun, and at least Mage or the belt is a very competitive slot, right? So that is a good thing.
Sure.
But why can't we get competitive slots in the other slots? Why does it have to be the belt slot? Why is it always a belt? Why can't it be something else? Why is it only a belt?
Cool. Glad we got that. Don't nerf it too much. It looks super fun. Very big fan. Right. So
one thing I did want to say, because I mentioned this on, like, you know, I was asked a question in Discord, but I want to mention it on like a more public platform, is the just to confirm it, the belt chooses an offensive and a defensive shrine. So you're never going to get, you know, like brutal and diamond together. Double offensive buffs doesn't happen, double defensive doesn't happen.
Okay, cool. Not even a small chance?
No, it's one offensive, one defensive.
That'd be cool. Acceleration echoing. Alright. Well, speaking of power, the next topic that I want to cover a little bit is borrowed power.
Because we have Calandras,
and we've been seeing that, like, that's been the meta for a while now. And the main borrowed power we're getting this league is the imbued gems, which are also directly competing with 21 gems and Val gems. I wanted to hear you talk a little bit about the design intent here when you're choosing like the borrowed power and how it's going to be implemented.
Well, I wouldn't say there's necessarily like this is the only borrowed power you're getting this league, because there's a ton of new currency items coming from Mirage, which are all giving, in essence, like a little bit
Surely
of borrowed power
multi-strike
here
would
and
cause
there.
more overlapping with the hammers. No, what? Even if you could use multi-strike, it still wouldn't force the if the outside hammers are always in a position to be overlapping at the exact same spot of the initial hit, it wouldn't matter what you did.
But yes, these imbue gems are definitely one of like the bigger sources. They also tend to favor attack builds, I'd say, because they care less about getting that level 21 as opposed to just being level 20.
Yeah. Fair.
But it wouldn't overlap. It would just be the initial hit overlapping, which you could just do that with attack speed, right? Like you would just attack faster.
You have like a baseline for what sort of power level? I guess maybe in like a more
3 separate cascades would overlap. But everything dies. Like, you only care about overlaps for bosses. You don't ever give a shit about overlaps in regular maps because as soon as you hit something in a regular map, it's just going to die, right? Because you're always either putting the new belt on or mage blood. Like you always hit hard enough to kill regular maps.
damage sense that you're aiming for borrowed power. Where I'd say, on top of my head, I would say Mercenary is probably where we had the most borrowed power, right? With probably the Doriani thing not maybe being superintended. But do you have like a rough
Probably.
number in mind for borrowed power?
The
Curly?
school's calling.
Well, I wouldn't even necessarily say that we need to have borrowed power every league, but it completely depends on the league mechanic, to be honest. It's like Mercenaries could allow for a lot more borrowed power because it actually made things more difficult at the same time, whereas most leagues' borrowed power are just pure power creep in that sense. But I don't think there's like any hard and fast rules here, to be honest.
Like, just to, for clarity's sake, I guess, like the place that imbued gems came from, as far as the design goal that I wanted to fulfill, is I wanted people to have 2 decision points when choosing a wish, not just like what the wish does in the area, but the imbued gems all come from the sigils associated with the wish. Like if you want to get the red imbued gem, you click the wish with the red sigil, and that's what causes monsters in that area to have a chance to drop the red imbued gem.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the red currency that creates them. And that means that like maybe there's a wish that you wouldn't normally otherwise take, but you're trying to farm for the red gem, so you're going to take it. And I wanted to have 2 axes of choice for all of the wishes, and that's where this came from. And it just also happened to be like, oh, and this can be, you know, some of the borrowed power that we might want to put in the league otherwise.
Are these going to be fairly plentiful, as in you'll get like a decent amount per day? Because obviously hitting the exact gem you want looks like it's going to be quite hard, and a lot of people are worried that this is going to be something that's like 2 or 5 divine per coin.
I can't really predict how expensive they'll end up being. I would say also it's hard to say how many you'll get per day because some people run 2 maps in a day and some people run 50.
Yeah.
You definitely could get 1 or more a day.
So I gotta go. The school called. The dean is sick, so I gotta go pick up Dean from school. Chat, I will see you guys later. You are the best.